Hey, it's Aaron, the Metal Theologian. So it's time for a little funny at my expense. I'm gonna cop something here. So I just got into like Brazilian metal, like in a big way, just about 2 years ago, something like that. It's funny, I wouldn't know it was about 2 years ago, but about the same time as I started this current job that I'm at right now. So anyway, so I started like grabbing all the shit that I could, right? And one of my very favorites was this one, man, fucking Bloody Vengeance by Vulcano, which is playing right now. And it just blew my mind because it's fucking hard and thrashy. I had this really weird sounding singer. Yeah, well, I just figured out that I've been playing at just the wrong speed for like the last 2 years, so it's actually the dude reminds me a lot more of the guy from Possessed, Jeff Becerra, I think his name is, or something like that. But it's still great, you know. But it's yeah, but it's funny. There's like one tune on side. The whole thing like works just great at 33. So there's like one tune on side 2 where I was like, man, this just really kind of doesn't sound right, you know. So eventually I figured it out. But it's like buried deep inside too. So like I fucking went all this time without even noticing it. So I feel like a little bit of a dumbass. But I don't know, man. I was really enjoying the record. I mean, I would have felt like I got my money's worth off this fucking record at 33. So what the hell, man? I'll own it. Yeah. So Vulcano, man, it's fucking fantastic. It's still one of my favorite Brazilian records, even at 45. So yeah, that's like my big sort of telling on myself here. Check out a few other things here, though. This is going to be all metal this time, so, here's what I kind of saw hyped on the Coliseum, and so I went and checked it out, just because I was curious what made this one so special. It's a comp called Metal Inferno, and, you know, it's a Castle Killers comp. It doesn't really, there's nothing really all that special about it on the surface. But, you know, I just finished listening to it, man. It's just a really enjoyable package. I mean, it has a couple Venom tunes, which, I don't know. I mean, how many times can you listen to black metal and Woman before you get tired? It has Green Eyes by Crucifixion, which isn't really their best song. Friends of Hell by Witchfinder General, which isn't really their good song. A couple Cloven Hoof songs, an instrumental by Angel Witch, and a couple Demon tracks, 2 of their best songs. And a song called Incubus by a band called Blood, which I'd never heard of before. And then a really weird, like, rework of Come to the Sabbath by Black Widow. By a group called Widow. I don't know, I heard it's the same guys, but I'm not sure what the deal is with that. Anyway, it's funny, it's kind of an interesting case in point how you don't necessarily have to have all the best stuff on a comp for the package to just really come together and be enjoyable, you know? So, I mean, I listened to this whole thing all the way through. I didn't get bored once, you know? And, you know, it's not an expensive record, this one. I mean, you can find this thing. I don't think it came out in the States, but, like, it got enough distribution. You can find an American seller to get this from, or, you know, do something like that if you decide you want it. But I'm not even necessarily recommending it. It's just, like, you know, they're like the classic, like, compilation records, like, you know, Rock Snacks, or Scene of the Crime, or, you know, either of the Cleveland metal comps, where there's all sorts of shit that you can't get elsewhere on those. But then there's this thing where most of the stuff you can get on other records, but it's just a really cool package anyway, man. So, yeah, it's an interesting record. It's sort of an interesting experience. I busted this out. I'm a latecomer to Death. Kind of ignored him at the time. I don't really know why in retrospect, but I don't know. And, I don't know, man, you know, I'm really digging this band just because they sound like sort of thrash plus more than they sound like death metal, you know? I mean, I'm not the first one to make one of these videos and come on here and say that, you know, Death doesn't really sound like a death metal band, even though they're super influential as far as death metal goes. But, you know, it's like the vocals are sort of heading in that direction, but beyond that, it's just really solid thrash shit. And it's not my favorite band still, but it's just a really enjoyable record. And Yeah, I don't know. What can I say? My education on death continues. Oh, here's one. I want to talk about this one for two reasons. You can get your hands on one of these. I highly recommend it. This is a recent reissue of the Light Force record, which came out on Soundmass out of Australia. I guess the original was actually a pure metal release, but I've never seen one before, and looking around online, it seems to go for some money. So this isn't the cheapest reissue on the planet just because of the import prices, but if you can find one, I recommend it, because this record is just fucking fantastic. Now, one of the things that struck me listening to this is, I mean, first of all, just the songs are all great, the hooks are great. You know, I was like walking around the house singing Metal Missionary and shit like that, so, you know, whatever. But like, this record is pretty heavy on the Jesus, and like, I want to call that out as a case in point, because I've referred to, I know Scott hates this, Scott Waters, but I've occasionally referred to Jesus metal records as heavy-handed, when they're like really heavy with the Jesus. But this record made me realize really what I mean with that, because it's not so much they're heavy with the Jesus, it's that they're heavy with that over the quality of the music. This record, if you're just from the standards of the lyrical content of that, is really pretty heavy-handed. It's unequivocal and it's in your face. But the music is so good that it doesn't feel oppressive, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like, oh shit, well I'm just getting preached at now. It feels like these songs are fantastic, and that's what they're into. Jesus is what they're into, and that's what they're singing about. And that's cool, man, because they're making an awesome fucking record in the process. And, you know, perfect length, man. It's 8 songs. Doesn't overstay its welcome at all. So yeah, it's interesting. In a way, it's sort of brought to light, you know, what that whole thing means, because this is not like, you know, one of those songs where, you know, he might be singing to a girl, but he might be singing to Jesus. No, this thing's pretty unequivocal. Now, the other thing I want to mention about this one is, you know, there's a lot of talk, you know, people talk about taking records out of the shrink and shit like that. I deliberately left this one in, so remember something. There's another reason to take the shrink wrap off your records, off your vinyls, I'm sorry. When you open them up. And the reason for that is that if it's exposed to any kind of moisture, mildew can get in there, or a little bit of moisture can hang out in there that would normally just dry off the cover, but it can hang out in there and it can mildew your record covers. I've seen that occasionally where you get a record that's 30 years old that's still in the shrink wrap and it looks great, but you tear off the shrink and it's all musty, or you know, you go like this, and it's because there's just like a tiny bit of moisture that like didn't dry because it was covered by shrink wrap, and it ended up ruining the record cover. So there we go. Now that my visual aid has served its purpose, I'm pulling off the shrink and setting a good example. This is a fantastic record though, man. Fucking Light Force. Absolutely great. I'm going to show it one more time because I like it so much. Alright, so, right on. Alright, so I'm going to put on a different one now. Just because there's something else I want to sample. There's another one here that I'm kind of freaking out over. So I'm going to fire it up before I start talking about it. I have a couple here that are kind of mediocre. I'll talk about those too, so. Maybe I'll go for those first. Let's see, no mediocrity here at all, actually. You know, in that 20 questions video I did, I was talking about how much I love Fats Domino. And it's funny because I used to listen to it all the time when I had it on the CD, but I got rid of the CDs and I never really replaced it. So I went out and grabbed a copy of this. And this is just like, you know, a 2-record compilation. You've probably seen this around. It's not like a particularly hard record to find, but, you know, it has all his hits on it, but just an awesome record, man. I mean, I've cracked wise about Fats Domino only having written one song. That might be a little bit harsh, but it's definitely one groove, but it's one groove that he does so well that, I mean, again, that's a double. I can sit down and listen to it from start to finish, and it's like, I'm not tired of it when I get to the end, you know what I'm saying? So here's a little preview. Check out that fucking label right there. get your Cyrillic, you know you got some quality coming right up. Actually, that's not true at all. But in this case, it's true. Alright, so this is one that is actually kind of hard to get even in Russia, so I'm pretty fucking happy to have gotten my hands on a copy. Look at this cover. It's so weird, isn't it? Just amazing. It's a super flimsy, like thin, like Soviet kind of cover. Even though this thing's actually 94, so it's late enough the Soviet Union was long gone. But anyway, this is Varvar, which I guess means barbarian. And I don't even know what the album title is. Zverinaya Bezdnya Ubiot Vas. Okay, there we go. But it has like a punky edge. It's like it's rough, but it's hooky. It's punky enough to give it character, but it's still like unabashedly metal. There's weird sounding leads in there. Man. Varvar, man. It's fucking so good. This record's been blowing me away, dude. I just can't believe it. Yeah, it's hard to follow that with anything, man. So fucking, I'll just show this cover again for another minute. Look at that. God damn, I feel like a dick just showing this off because it's a hard record to come by. But it's so awesome. Maybe someone will geek out and do a reissue of it because it deserves one, man. Here's a record that does not deserve a reissue. This is my first Viva record. To the degree that this band is known for anything, which it's not, it's known for having the Schenker Brothers' sister in the band, and it says on keyboards and synthesizer, but what that actually means is keytar. See that shit? First song on this is really good. And then sort of settled into a groove where it wasn't really all that interesting, but it didn't really bother me, you know. Then on side 2, there was a ballad that was fucking horrible, and I was like, ooh, okay, this just dropped like 4 points, and overall, this record's listenable. That one fucking ballad is unlistenable, okay? Overall, the record's listenable, but, man, let's put it this way, I'm not going to be going out of the way to find any more. I came across this relatively cheap and figured, what the hell? I paid little enough for it that it was probably worth it for the cover, but I'm equivocating a little bit on that even. It's not bad. Well, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's not terrible, is what it's not. This, on the other hand, I might have shown this last time around, but I finally found a copy of this, man. This is a really cool record, man. It really is. This one's growing on me. It's like my entry point for Wrathchild America, who I totally snoozed on back in the day. I even saw these guys live once and didn't think much of them. But to a large degree because of my record dealer friend in Colombia, to a lesser degree because of Greeno, I was re-exposed to these guys. And my real entry point was, what's it called? 3D, the next one after. Fuck it. I'll just pull it out real quick. Hang on. Yeah, so this is the one that really got me into this band. So that first one I kind of kept an eye out for a while. And eventually came across one in the wild, lucky for me. But this one, I don't know, it felt like this one didn't feel as committed as that one. It seemed like they wanted to do the same thing as far as sort of the limbs they went out on 3D, you know, sort of the weird styles, the songwriting eccentricities and that. You can hear that on this record, but it's not fully realized yet, you know? And at first I was like, it just kind of sounds like a metal record that isn't all that great, or 3D not fully realized, you know what I mean? But I've come to sort of appreciate this thing on its own terms as just sort of that halfway point between, you know, a standard metal record with just some eccentricities, or appreciate it as a standard metal record but with some eccentricities. So, yes, this one's growing on me. I'm still at 100% there. I don't want to act like I've completely assimilated this one because I've only listened to it a couple times, but I like it a lot, man. It's staying out. It's in rotation still. Yeah, this is still the one that really grabbed me, though. 3D, even though it looks terrible on the back, man. I like that front cover, though. I know it's very metal, but it's cool looking. Yeah, what else do we have here? I mean, I suppose that's about it. Oh, here's another one that I'm reassessing. Actually, I'm bust out two more. Alright, this is one that I'd seen around, never bid on it because of the terrible cover. This record's great, man. It's not as good as Varvar, okay, but not much is. But this is really solid, man. Fucking really good songs. It's heavy. It's a lot heavier than it looks. It looks like, you know what it looks like? It looks like a fucking, like, Kingdom Come type of band, I think. You know what I mean? Like, they're almost not even really metal at all. Like, to the degree that it's metal, it's glam, but it's almost not even that. It's more just like, you know, they love Led Zeppelin, and that's all you hear in the record, you know? That's not what this sounds like at all. This is like a fucking rockin' record, man. It's fucking, you know, the songs are really good, and I recommend it pretty highly. I'd probably give it about an 8 out of 10, you know? And the one I'm going to close with is actually one that, I think this is my third copy of this that I had over the years, but I never thought much of it. Came across this one relatively cheap and went, okay, well, what the hell, I'll give it one more shot. Especially because Metal Ron loves it so much. I mean, he won't stop talking about this. So I've heard the praises of this record sung so much. Anyway, this record has finally struck me right. I put this on for, I don't know, maybe the 5th time when I put it on, when I got it home from the record store, and went, man, this is really good. You know? The 5th time being the previous copies I'd had. I'd listened to 1 or 2 times and said, fuck this, let it go, you know? So anyway, yeah, I'm won over, you know what I mean? It's weird in a little bit of a way. I mean, they don't look very much like a metal band, really, you know? It's just kind of the, I don't know, I guess in a way maybe they do, but it just, I don't know. The cover doesn't really look like a metal record, though, either, you know? But I don't know, it's just really cool speed metal, man. The songs are just really good. I mean, I don't know what to say beyond that, you know? Except that I got my head around their sound, and I really dig the songs now, so... Yeah, Snow White, man. I'm a convert. I'm proud to be a convert. And, yeah, and I think that's it. Coming up on 20 minutes here. I want to see if there's anything else you can eat at me. You know, shit that I have to leave out until I discuss it. Yeah, I mean, there's some other things I'm listening to here, but I'll save it for next time. So, thanks for watching. And, yeah, that's funny. That's like an evening's listening to shit that I just showed. I should make these videos more often to do that. It's not going to listen to 1 or 2 records a day, and it takes me a week to accumulate a stack, you know. I mean, I usually listen to 7 or 8 every day. So, alright, thanks for watching anyway, and until next time, how do I do this shit?